Hey there everybody, it's me, Jara. It's time for a little May question and answer. Here are your cues. Time's a maze. First one. Have you been on any dates recently? Have you met anyone nice? The short answer is no. There's been a lot of kind of weird quasi-relationship things, text relationships, but nothing anything solid. And yeah, it's a little saddening, but just how life is right now. People you look up to and why. I've got two big ones, I can think of at the moment. The first one to me is a short story author by the name of Amy Bender. I first met her when I was in college, and I was a junior, and I just switched over to acquiring a minor in creative writing / poetry writing. And one of the requirements was to take a fiction writing class. And I had heard that this writer had just started teaching for the very first time. And so I enrolled in her class, and her name was Amy Bender, and it turned out that she was just a wonderful, engaging, quirky, just vivacious talent, and unlocked an understanding to me of literature and writing in ways that I didn't think was possible till then. It made me comfortable with the idea that characters can be in a level of unease and even a little slight torment and still be enjoyable, and you can still appreciate who they are and empathize with them. And many of her characters are. In her short story, The Girl with the Flammable Skirt, which I definitely recommend getting, a lot of her characters start out in very odd narratives. One of her lovers is de-evolving right before her eyes, and how she deals with that. Or a man comes back from a war without lips. It just starts off with these absurd premises, and yet deals with them in such a grave, unflinching, very real, honest way. The second one is more aligned with acting, and this has been one for me ever since I was probably early teens, since I saw Glory, and since I watched Homicide: Life on the Street with my mom, and that was Andre Braugher. Andre Braugher is just electric to me. Just the way he can be so understated, so simple, and yet just grab you by every fiber and make you pay attention to what he's attempting to do in a scene. Season 1 of Homicide is just classic television. Three Men and Nadina is one of the best episodes of TV you can ever watch, especially with the late Moses Gunn. But Andre Braugher and Moses Gunn and Kyle Secor did some fantastic work on that episode. I was lucky enough when I first moved here to get a ticket. My friend Winnie is the stage manager for many Broadway and off-Broadway shows, and I saw The Whipping Man with Andre Braugher, and it was just a treat. And constantly, whenever I'm performing, I ask myself, am I keeping things simple? Am I coming from a place of power when I need to be, and clarity, just like what I see with Andre Braugher. Favorite poem ever written and how it speaks to me. Well, my favorite poem's a tough one, but for today, it's from this little book. This is one of my favorite books ever. When I first heard this poem and read this book, it knocked my socks off. This poet recently passed away about a year ago. His name is Galway Kinnell, and it's The Book of Nightmares. Got a signed copy from him. The poem I'll read to you is called Little Sleep's Head Sprouting Hair in the Moonlight. The whole gist of the poem is it's Galway recounting, the speaker recounting, comforting his newborn child as she wakes from a nightmare. and yet meditating on that sense of mortality and the fact that while he's comforting her, he knows that he can't always be there to help her. And I think about that time and time again as, as life goes on and the family and friends I know shift or leave this world. And I think that the love itself is, while transitory, is a very powerful and lasting influence. And I think he makes a very valid point in the poem that just the mere action, the mere purpose of existence is enough, despite the pressures and fears that mortality bring. And here's the poem. Little sleep's head, sprouting hair in the moonlight. You scream, waking from the nightmare. When I sleepwalk into your room and pick you up, and hold you up in the moonlight, you cling to me hard, as if clinging could save us. You think I will never die. I think I exude to you the permanence of smoke or stars, even as my broken arms heal themselves around you. I've heard you tell the sun, don't go down. I've stood by as you told the flower, don't grow old, don't die. Little Maud, I would blow the flame out of your silver cup. I would suck the rot from your fingernail. I would brush your sprouting hair of the dying light. I would scrape the rust off your ivory bones. I would help death escape through the little ribs of your body. I would alchemize the ashes of your cradle back into wood. I would let nothing of you go ever, until washerwomen feed the clothes, fall asleep in their hands, and hens scratch their spell across hatchet blades, and rats walk away from the cultures of the plague, and iron twist weapons toward the true north, and grease refuse to slide in the machinery of progress, and men feel as free on earth as fleas in the bodies of men, and lovers no longer whisper in the presence beside them in the dark, O corpse to be. And yet perhaps this is the reason you cry. This is the nightmare you wake screaming from, being forever in the pre-trembling of a house that falls. In a restaurant once, everyone quietly eating, you clambered up to my lap. To all the mouthfuls rising toward all the mouths, at the top of your voice you cried your one word, Kaka, 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 and each spoonful stopped a moment in mid-air in its withering steam. Yes, you cling because I, like you, only sooner than you, will go down the path of vanished alphabets, that roadlessness to the other side of the darkness. Your arms like the shoes left behind, like the adjectives in the halting speech of old men, which once could call up the lost nouns. And you yourself, so impossible Tuesday in the year 2009, will walk out among the black stones of the field in the rain, and the stones saying over their one word, Kachit, Kachit, Kachit. And the raindrops hitting you on the fontanelle over and over, and you standing there unable to let them in. If one day it happens and you find yourself with someone you love at a cafe at one end of the Point Marabout, at the zinc bar where white wine stands at upward opening glasses, and if you commit then, as we did, the sin of thinking one day this will only be memory, learn as you stand at this edge of the bridge which arcs, from love you think into enduring love, learn to reach deeper into the sorrows to come, to touch the almost imaginary bones under the face, to hear under the laughter the wind crying across the black stones, kiss the mouth which tells you, here is the world, this mouth, this laughter, these temple bones. The still, undanced cadence of vanishing. In the light the moon sends back, I can see in your eyes the hand that waved once in my father's eyes, a tiny kite wobbling far up in the twilight of his last look, and the angel of all mortal things lets go the string. Back you go, into your crib. The last blackbird lights up his gold wings, farewell. Your eyes close inside your head in sleep. Already in your dreams the hours begin to sing. Little sleep's head sprouting hair in the moonlight. When I come back we will go out together. We will walk out together among the 10,000 things, each scratched too late with such knowledge. The wages of dying is love.